You seem hungry. Good thing your table is ready with Saturday Omaha.
Saturday Omaha.
Eat this.
Well, this is Dave with Saturday Omaha, and we are here on another episode of Saturday's series of Food Recognized Food, where we talk to people in and around the restaurant industry, both in Omaha and elsewhere, about all the cool things that they are doing. And I am very fortunate to be sitting in KIS Studios with Andrea Rae of Her Company. Andrea, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
This is so fantastic. So you and I have now been acquainted for a long time, at least 5 or 10 minutes.
At least.
At least. But I, been seeing a lot of the things that have been happening at Her Company and the wonderful things that you are doing. And, of course, the show being food focused, the wonderful food that's available there.
So many.
And I got a chance to stop out and see the awesomeness that is taking place there because I am a huge sucker for the baked after dark cinnamon rolls and will travel
So good.
the world, right? Exactly. So awesome. And I went in for a cinnamon roll. Actually, we went in for the warm cookie service they were doing.
Okay.
And I ended up walking out with 2 cakes from
Crumb Coat and Chill, I
Crumb
think.
Coat and
Yes.
Chill
Yeah.
and a butterfly pea lavender lemonade too. So one of those, and then saw just amazing things that are available there. But the cool part that I like, besides all this awesome stuff, is that you are providing a space for women to get their business started or continued or those type of things. And I would love to attempt to summarize this, but you are the authority. So what is Her Company? And let's start there.
So Her Company is a cooperative. We have a kitchen space in the back, so shared kitchen. It's a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
And then in the front, it's retail. So everything from like candle makers to body care. But then we have coolers, so anyone that actually bakes can start to sell their things outside. Or up front.
Yeah.
So it's just a cooperative that I started to kind of help women be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. So it's like not one of us is trying to figure it out or 2 of us. There's 40 of us and we all can work together. And so for me, it was like, okay, if you need a kitchen and or retail or both, let's just figure out how we can get that going. So that's how it started. But
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so if I can pry a little bit back into the past, what got you to that point where you're like, this is what I'm going to do? Because this is a pretty ambitious thing here.
Well, so I own Healing Foods. So
right
Healing
on.
Foods is basically a healthy food company that I started, and I've always worked with men. And I've always found different like partners and people to make the food for me and help me with kitchen space, and it's always been men. And it was difficult. I was starting to find myself like struggling like this. It was always like a power struggle, or they would like run over me, or they would just kind of do things that weren't actually, I didn't think, were very honest or fair. So when I decided I needed a kitchen space, I was like, you know what? I've not really had a lot of experience with this, but let me see if there's other women that would maybe need a kitchen space or a retail space. And so let's just see what happens. So that's how it started.
That's absolutely amazing. So tell me a little bit about Healing Foods. So is
Yeah.
that available at
It
Her
is.
Company
Yep.
as well?
So Healing Foods is just basically, I started it almost 7 years ago. And it was to help me be healthy and stay on track. And so I started it to just as myself to basically get healthier. And my friends started saying, hey, will you cook for me? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, sure. And then it just grew and it went crazy. And I started getting gyms and delivering to homes. And I haven't done much with it lately just because I was so busy with with Her Company.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting back into it where it's always been available, but not quite. Like I'm going to really get back into actually helping that company grow. But mostly we try to use as much organic product as we can, very few ingredients, and help people with healthy foods. So like diabetics and things, I try to get on the line of like people who really need a stricter diet. So all gluten-free, dairy-free, things like that. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And what types of cuisine? So my
Everything.
mind naturally
Yeah.
goes to probably some awesome like granolas or bars or
No,
but
actually, no,
Oh,
we
great.
don't.
This is
Yeah,
cool.
so this is all like meals. So they're individually packaged. So I do everything from like zucchini lasagna
Ooh.
to this week we had soups. we do a Jennifer Aniston salad, which is like chickpeas and all very fresh, happy, like summery things.
Yeah.
Chicken enchiladas that are made with almond flour, tortillas, things like that. So yeah, it's all it tastes great. So one of the reasons that I didn't want to eat healthy per se was because I always felt like you had to be on a diet. It was always just chicken and vegetables.
Right.
And so I started just taking meals and making them healthier. And so you didn't feel like you were on a diet. So it's kind of that kind of food.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's not like,
No,
it's
not.
boneless, skinless, boiled
No,
chicken
it
breast
is not.
again.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. I try to use lean turkey. I've done bison. We have a beef lady in our store, so I use her lean beef, which is raised here in Nebraska, things like that. So yeah, we try to keep it pretty a big variety. So I do everything from like Chinese to Italian to all different styles. So
Awesome. And do you have a culinary or restaurant background,
no,
or you're just
zero.
an awesome
That's
cook?
why it's funny. Like zero. That's why I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is like, why do you want me to? So I just learned. I mean, I grew up on a farm. So
Oh, nice.
I mean, we had to cook for hired hands and all of the things that my dad did as little kids growing up. So, and my mom was a good cook. So, yeah, I think I just kind of taught myself. But no, I don't make things pretty. They just taste good.
I mean, it taste is the most important thing.
That's what I think. So
No
yeah.
question. Well, and I would assume, and but growing up on a farm, I mean, talk about literal farm to table
Yes,
right there. I
it
would
was.
assume you kind of developed an appreciation for food and those
So
type of things.
much, and we always were blessed. I always tell people, I'm like, how did you not have good food growing up? We had the best. We had fresh corn out of the field. We pick it that day. We had a garden that was bigger than most people's houses.
Yeah.
We had our own beef and pigs and all of the stuff. So everything was ours. So I remember going to the grocery store for the first time when I was like in college. And I was like, Dad, what do I buy for beef? Like, I don't even know what to buy at the grocery store. So, yeah, that's how spoiled we were.
And why is this tomato clear
I
instead
know,
of red,
I
right?
know.
Like, what's going on here?
Because my mom did. She canned all of our tomatoes. And so we've always had fresh tomatoes our whole lives. Like, even now, she does all of our tomatoes for us. So.
That's wonderful. And if I may ask, did
Yeah.
you grow up in the Midwest?
Yes.
Or?
So a couple hours, that would be north and west of here.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, goodness gracious. So this is wonderful. So a confluence of how you grew up and what you enjoyed, and then helping yourself and others eat healthier, and then branching out to, wait a minute, I'm just going to do this myself and make these things happen the
I
way
always
you want
like
it
that
to.
everything has been by accident. I mean, I have the ideas, but it's always just kind of happened accidentally, which is what makes it the most fun. So
That's fantastic. And how long has her company been open?
we opened December 28th. So we've been open 6 months.
Oh, right
Yeah,
on,
so
right
it's
on.
new.
Oh, still super
Yeah,
new. Oh,
yeah.
fantastic. And who were some of your first, cooperative members there?
Oh, so fun. So pretty much everybody that's, oh gosh, so Haley with Crumb Coat and Chill,
Yeah.
Sweet Ash Max. One of the best things about her company is it's an open door, so there's no contracts, so you can come and go. So we've had some in the beginning, and they kind of come and go, or they can take a break or not. But they're kind of our main staples. And then Teas and More, I think you got the tea from.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of those. And then obviously mine, Susan with Life Elixirs. She was one of my very first ones too. So yeah.
When people started to become part of the co-op, did you seek people? Did they come to you?
Yeah, so a little of both. So when I first started, I was like, gosh, I don't know if there's going to be like a need for this. And I'm in a really great girl group, and I just posted it, and all of a sudden I got hundreds of emails. And so it was hard because I don't know if it went to junk or, whatever, but everyone was reaching out like, okay. And then, probably about 5% were, what we ended up getting. And so in the beginning, I think I started with 20. Like the day we opened, I think we had 20 different ladies. So, and I did like a kind of a open house to try and help them get their businesses out there, like Norma's Candy. So she's a candy scientist. Tessa's amazing. I don't know if you've heard of her.
No, but I'm excited. That's
so
awesome.
she's a candy scientist. So she's one of the very first ones. And so it's always been fun, and they're inspiring. So like I said, I've always said it's the best of the best. So Yeah, I have reached out to several. There's a couple that, their kids are little, so they can't come yet. But there's some I have my eye on, and I am constantly like, don't you need a kitchen? So, yeah, I do that.
That's wonderful. Well, and Candy Scientist sounds definitely like if you need to inspire somebody to get into science and math, that sounds amazing.
She is so cool, and she's so down to earth. But she does go to schools and teach kids how to do it, so it's really neat. Yeah, she's pretty inspiring. So, yeah.
How do, if somebody wants to make this happen and wants some space, how do they approach you, or like what is required to get started on doing
There's
something
no
like
requirement. So that's what's so awesome is, and I want people to know this, it's really not that hard. I know that it's so scary. You're working with the health department or you're working with the Department of Agriculture, and they're very, very scary, but it's not. So when you come into a kitchen like this, my role and the exciting part for me is most people who come to me are cottage bakers, so they don't know much more than like their home baking.
Sure.
And so people will start businesses and they don't understand the rules, and so it gets scary, and then they're like, okay, I don't want to do it. I'm not following the rules. Well, where I am, I really help get you licensed, get you into the kitchen, show you how to start your business. And then also with our marketing, with our team, and then with having products for people all the time, your business can grow exponentially. Like it's so fast. I mean, some of these ladies, Valentine's week, some of them were selling between $2,000 and $3,000 that week.
Oh my goodness.
So they've probably never done that kind of business on their own ever because they're just baking at home, So if you want to stay small, you can stay small. But if you want to grow, you can. So those opportunities are there. But you just message me and I help you. Every business is different. So if you're a baker, one thing. If you're actually cooking food, you can't cook at home. So you have to.
Right.
So there's certain businesses that cannot do things without a commercial kitchen. So those are the kind of fun things for me, is to kind of help people scale their business per se. So, yeah.
So if you are a cottage baker and you're like, oh, and I make a cake a week or one or two cakes, and then like going into full production for like a store. So I know Crumb Coat and Chill when I was there, right? There's like many cakes and many things. So how do you help guide people on that scaling of, oh, I'm doing this for fun, or to try to start a business to, whoa, we're going legit here and we have to have a supply?
So that's the fun part. They get to decide on their own. So like Haley is easy because Haley is a workhorse. Like she's amazing. So she knows, and she's been doing it long enough that, having 4 ovens, she knows how to scale her business. I learned early on, it's not an easy, I feel like I kind of pushed a little bit more for more retail from some of them, and they didn't want to disappoint. So I've pulled back from that. I'm learning that I want everyone to do it on their own scale versus like our need, because we can sell anything that you want. Like if you bring it, we will sell it, but I don't want to overwhelm people. So I try to start them out with like slowly, and then when the need is there, then they can decide how they want to scale that per se.
Gotcha. So if they want 6 cakes or 600, whatever they want to do.
And then they'll learn. And over time, we've learned. I mean, it's only been 6 months, so we don't know exactly, but we've learned over holidays that we start early. So, and the best part is they're all really helpful for each other. So like Haley and Ashley with Sweet Ash, and some of like now Baked After Dark, they're all very kind. And so they help each other. So on that part of it, I kind of let them work together. And I'm more like the front of house when it comes to that. Like, hey, here's an idea and take it or leave it, but here's an idea. So.
Yeah. And it's so cool that you have kind of different levels of experience in there as well, because you have Baked After Dark, open for years, had their own brick and mortar, but they got their start from what I recall at farmers markets. So they started ground up, right? And then you've got maybe somebody that's a newer baker, somebody that's making jewelry or a product.
Literally just started, barely started,
That's
like
crazy.
Just going, I have no followers on Instagram, right? So,
Yeah. Like, my mom and my friends are following me, and how do I get to scale up?
And then how do I make it? And then is there waste? Is there not? And I teach people that you have to have waste. Like, selling out is just not the way to go with what we're doing, because when you have waste, at least you're not turning people away. And waste just has to be figured into your cost. So that's the kind of things that we've learned just with the store. We didn't know that we didn't know if Omaha would come and be like, oh, what is this place,
Yeah.
and what is her company, right?
Right.
And so we didn't really know how to start. And so it's been kind of fun learning. And we all learn together. Like, we're all just kind of growing up together. Like, oh, okay, well, we can sell anything. Okay, let's do that.
Well, and I think that's such a fun philosophy is like, let's just start with we can sell anything, and then how do we make that work?
Yes.
And I love that I think you've used the word learn a couple of times, and I heard a phrase once that you have, two choices. You can either succeed or learn.
Yes.
And I love the fact, and you can probably do both too at the same time.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's
So in the interest of people development, and you have a team, you have this cooperative, how do you circle together and bring what you are learning? Do you have meetings, or is it just organic conversation? Like, how do you knowledge share between each other?
That's a great question. So because everyone's so busy, it's
Yeah.
like herding cats, I say. So it's hard to get everyone together. So we don't have meetings. We do try. I have a really great, I call her the CEO. So Sam runs the front when I'm not there. And so she kind of we are constantly just giving ideas, and we're talking to them anytime we can. If I'm able to like have a one-on-one, I do. A lot of them will come in and like schedule meetings with me, like, what can I do? How can I improve my business? Things like that. And then they are all friends. Like, so I feel like they're all helpful to each other. So there's not a meeting per se, but we are constantly letting them know what the people coming in are asking for, and like what's selling and what's not and things like that. And we're, we can, like I said, we can offer ideas, but ultimately it's still their business. So like, I want to always remind them, like, it's your business, guys. Like, you have to keep working it. And so, and as a business owner, we wear many hats. And so I do know that, like, again, I have to give grace for someone that is like, you know what, I have kids, I'm busy, I'm going to take a break.
With the co-op, so you're helping each individual owner, they're still the owner of their business.
Yep.
Interesting. So do you provide some type of coaching on like how to either price things or how to measure success?
Yes. If asked. I learned that not everyone wants opinions and advice. So when asked, or if they want that kind of thing, yes, I will sit down and help them price things and figure out how to do it. We have definitely given price points based on other, like the quality and the things like that. So that's easy for us. Yep. So Sam and I, between the two of us, will definitely say, yeah, we're going to need you to go here with your prices. And obviously, like Baked After Dark, they know, what they're, and Crumb Coat and Chill, so anybody that's a veteran would obviously know what they're doing. But now you have rent, and now you have, however, if you want, you can sell more too. So there's quality and quantity and all of the things that you get to figure out. So it's kind of a fun little game for them, I think.
One of the things for me that's always interesting is people making that leap from cottage baker to brick and mortar, or food truck to brick and mortar.
Huge.
Or the folks that are like, I'm leaving my corporate 9 to 5 and I'm going to be my own person.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you work like a 9 to 5
Yeah,
type thing
so
before
I
this?
would definitely say that I've made every mistake that you could make. So for me, I would say if you want to know all the things not to do, I'm your person. So
Nice.
anything that you don't like over time and over, obviously I have a different product, but still you learn holidays, you learn things, you learn timing, you learn what people want, you learn how to make mistakes, and you just figure out mistakes are, again, what we talked about, you learn. So
Yeah.
some people are good at that, some people are resilient, and other people are not. But that's the joy, right? Like, you took a risk, and without risk, there's no reward. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think there's what's neat is you're providing a safe space with I mean, I know it's only 6 months old, but you have a model for helping these ladies succeed. And there has to be a little bit of comfort, I would think, in knowing that you have the expertise, you have your, the other ladies that are there to help you get started. Because that initial speed bump, or maybe it's cliff that you're, jumping off of with a hang glider, like we're going.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, is just to get over the mental hurdle and to reduce the mental anguish a little bit has to be great.
I love that you say that because I'm the kind of person, so my boyfriend always say that I'm the fire ready aim. And that really is me. Like I just kind of say, like we were not ready to open on the 28th and I'm like, I don't care. We're opening whether we have everything or we don't. So I'm the kind of person that will just like figure it out as I go. And I feel like when you're happy and you're excited and you offer great products and great people, everything just falls into place. So you're not disappointing people. So when they come, they're going to keep coming, right? Like you're going to be able to see all the new things. And sometimes weekly we get 2 to 3 new people. So every time you come there, it's not like you're going to Target, right? You're going to someone that they're making it or they're creating it or it's helping a mom with 4 kids. And I think for me, it's the stories. It's their lives that are probably more touching for me. And so I think that's why it's easy to help them because of all of that.
For the women that are there, are there, I mean, I won't dwell on Baked After Dark too much because I love them so much. But
we do too, trust me.
In that situation where there were some challenges, cost of goods, a whole bunch of other things where the brick and mortar just didn't work out. And this is providing a new opportunity for them to rise again. Haha, they're bakers. But they're grabbing onto that. And so I'm kind of familiar with that story. But what about some of these other stories? Are there any of these ladies where you're like, wow, this is such a big deal that really kind of hits you in the feels a little bit?
Oh, yes, there's many. And without like getting into their past stories, like obviously, moms raising their kids on their own or have lost their husbands or they're trying to create a life of their own and they were left in circumstances where it's either sink or swim, right? So, and literally every single person there has, in my opinion, started something not only because they love it, but some of them out of like desperation of trying to make their life work. And so for me, I think that that's why it's so easy to share their stories and their products because they are amazing. I mean, you are not going to walk in that store and find anything that's not amazing. It's of the best quality and all of the things. And so so for me, I think it's just people connect to stories. And so that's why I have all of their stories and I have all of their photos. And that's kind of a big thing for me is to be able to share that part of it. Like even sitting down with them and talking to them and learning from them all the time is really helpful for me because it kind of grounds me, right? Like I don't have kids and I'm not juggling all these jobs and running here and there and picking things up. And so I'm always like, ooh, okay, their lives are not stopping right now. They're going home to, so.
Yeah.
It humbles me a little.
For sure to make the leap of doing that on their own and like you said, I mean, I don't know how any single parent, that's such a hard task to do that and still make ends meet and all those things is
and then
just
create a product.
Right.
That is amazing. Like how are you that creative? Like your life is anything but not stressful and you're still putting out the best quality of products. Like if everyone knew this, they would not be going to Target to buy their candles, right? You know, so
yeah. Have you got any feedback from the business owners, the co-op owners here on like just how they feel when things are happening for them?
You know what? That's a good question. I think that some of them, Baked After Dark is a great new asset for me because they will come out. They know their clients really, really well. So they'll come out and be super excited. I've learned that some of the ladies are a little more shy, so they're not as like outgoing or as interactive in person, but for sure when they're like, oh, somebody got that or somebody thanked me or someone posted, like, of course, that's like a amazing thing. But I've learned that this space is really great for them because they don't have to promote. One of the things that I don't like to do is promote myself so I can relate to them. I think it's easier to have me promote them than them to promote themselves. So I always feel like that is a benefit for them because I'm more excited about them than myself, obviously. So, which is why I don't really like to do these things because I'm like, why don't you ask them? They're better than me. But anyway, so that's kind of where I go with that is they get a little nervous. A lot of them they are not good at selling themselves. And so I'm always building them up like, you guys, you've got to be in front of people. Like if they met you, they would just be that much more like interested and excited about you. So
There's a book out there. It's Your Customer Rules and a Culture of Consultation, I think is what
Wow,
it is.
I
if
need to
remember
read this.
the
Thank you
subtitle.
for that.
Little older book,
That's
but
okay.
there's some cool concepts in there. And one of them is regarding your customer that you know me, you surprise me, you make me feel good, right? And so if you remember maybe what somebody ordered and you say, oh, hey, do you want the monster cookie again or this particular tea? There's an audio company that I get things from sometimes. And the first time I order from them and every time afterwards, but they put a little package of candy.
Oh my gosh, are you at
Yes.
Sweetwater?
Yes. I have ordered stuff from
So
them.
terrible, I know this. And they
Yes.
give you
Yes.
the
We
candy.
also have local people that I like too, but I have ordered from them. And so it shows up and there's candy in there. I didn't expect that.
I
but-
love those.
Yeah. And it costs, 50 cents for them maybe, but it's such a
exactly.
surprising deal. So adding that little bit of interest in there is kind of a neat deal too.
So
think.
I would say Sam and I do a really great job of knowing our customers.
Yeah.
And so if you are a part of our co-op, you don't have to because we do. And we remember. And so we're constantly building the relationships with those people. So that is another benefit of coming to our store is because we do that for you. So if you're not that person, then we are for you. So yeah.
And so 6 months in, and so maybe you have or have not got to this point yet. But so you are coaching, guiding, collaborating, making these things happen. What happens when somebody blows up, goes big, or they're like, I want to leave the co-op to establish my own brick and mortar or a chain of things?
We
or
have
how
one
does
that I
happen?
knew is going to, and I'm super excited for. Of course, I would. That's the whole hope, right? Like you
Nice.
want them to get that big. You want them to be able to do that. That, for me, there's enough new people out there with new ideas and that's why I have no contracts. I want everyone to do what's best for them. And this person does obviously not need guidance, but she's starting her own. And as soon as the ducks all align and she's able to do it, and you know what? There's several other that's their hope and dream. And of course, that's what you want from them. Like if you can go start a restaurant or a bakery or do it the way you want to, I'm just that little tiny stepping stone, right? Like I'm just the one to show you, yes, there's something out there. Like you can have a transition for such a little amount of money every month. Like you can still have your own business without having to do all the work.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to also point out that it's not that easy running your
Right.
You have staff, you have rent, you have all the bills and stuff. So they know that too. So when you can just show up in a kitchen and put your things out and leave for the weekend and you don't have to work an event or do anything or sell your things and you still collect a check, like for me, I wish that was what would have been available for when I was actually starting my business, but that's okay. I created it for other people.
Absolutely. Well, I would imagine that has to be immensely satisfying
So
if you
satisfying.
if you help somebody lift someone up so that they could do that themselves.
Well, and or just watching them.
yeah.
There's no competition. So that is the one thing I try with all the ladies. And of course, there's lots of different personalities. But one of the things I continue to remind them, and I would love to think that that's the culture, is there's no competition, right? Like you can
Yeah.
have 10 different juice ladies and they love each other. Both of my juice ladies couldn't be more excited for each other. They're different. They don't care, right?
Yeah.
So when another cookie company comes in, all they're doing is bringing you new clients, right? So somebody new to bring. So for me, competition is just, it's such an ugly word because you should only be in competition with yourself. Like you should be excited and helpful and like wanting that newness because it helps everyone.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, competition for me, I get I shy away from that with everyone. I try to remind them how great those things are.
Absolutely. Well, and I think the Omaha, the food community anyway, which is kind of the angle that I focus on quite often, but they really do lift each other up, and I think the attitude of most restaurants in Omaha is, I've seen it with Tired Texan that's now closed. They had a large kitchen fire. I know other barbecue folks in town are like, hey, how can we help? Do you want to borrow our smoker? Do you want to whatever? And so I can see this here too, where, like you said, not competition, but striving for excellence together, benefiting from the lessons that each other are learning. And like you said, you've had all these experiences where, you were able to trip over something, pick yourself back up,
Yeah.
and forge on, and you might be able to help someone not trip in the same place. And it's awesome.
And I think that is so important. So again, like you said, restaurants are like that. So when you're all in the same place, no one makes the same thing. So I always remind them, confidence in your product just makes you that much better, right? So when you have confidence that flows into your food, that flows into your product, you would never be worried that someone else is going to come in because you are still your own person and you're still as great as you were before. And so, and I do really enjoy coming to work to be happy. So I always feel like if you're happy, it does show into your work and into your product. And so people know that you made something with joy. They will feel that. They will see that. So, and the quality will show it. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, and something like, I'll use pizza for an example. Yeah, I could probably eat pizza every day, but
Me too.
am I eating probably at the same pizzeria every day? No, I'm gonna change it up. Maybe I want a deep dish, maybe I want a thin crust or whatever.
Yes.
So if you got two ladies that are producing awesome cookies,
or
chocolate chip
3
cookie,
or 4 or 5, let me tell you, none of them are the same. None.
That's
which is
so
so crazy and so amazing. And they all have their own spin and their own look and their own creativity. And I'm blown away by just their minds. Like I'll go in the back, I can't make a box of brownies. And they know this. Like I laugh. I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but can you guys show me? And so they do. They will walk me through the process or I'll watch it and I am mesmerized. Like I could literally be back there for hours going, oh my gosh, you guys are so talented.
When we kind of started this conversation, one of the things you said that you ran into was, hey, you're working with, these other guys or whatever that were just kind of like ignoring you or trying to steamroll you or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you're taking a collaborative approach to, help that happen, which I think is awesome and probably makes people feel very comfortable just in general.
I would think so. I mean, to be able to be a woman trying to get a place, getting loans, doing all that stuff, it's very difficult. And I can't even imagine, think of all 40 of us going to get our own store somewhere,
Oh my
right?
goodness, yeah.
Do you know what we would all be trying to do against each other without, I think of it like it's our own little shop, and we have literally everything that you can think of. It's like one-stop shop. Like you can stop in there for gifts, and you can get a baked good, and you can and again, you can try different people's things. Like it's not just the same old, same old. Like
Yeah.
you're not just walking into a box store of someone just doing the same thing every day as an assembly line. You're seeing someone put creativity and heart into it. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I really like that approach as well, because for me, even when I go out to a restaurant and I'm going to do an overview of that restaurant, I want one of everything on the menu.
Yes.
And so, some places will give you like a sampler platter or whatever. But what I like about her company is kind of the same way. Is like, when I walked out that day, my bag had things from like 3 or 4 different places all in one spot. And I found that was fun. And I went in for one and I'm like, oh, I need that. And
What
that,
was the little
please.
smiley cake? Did you get the little smiley cake? Is that what you got?
No, I did not. I got from Crumcoat and Chill, I got a cookies and like a cookie cake.
Oh, the Sammys.
Yeah, no, it was a cake.
It was a cake.
little cake.
Okay.
2 little cakes, creme brulee, and one had like chocolate chip cookies on top. And so that was good. And then the tea, and we did the warm cookie service from Baked After Dark. So very, very cool. I just all that stuff. But it's like if you needed napkins or earrings or whatever, you name it, like it's everything is there, which is super cool.
And we are vamping up our cafe. So we have a new bread maker. And so we're going to start doing sandwiches in the morning, like croissants. We're going to do like chicken salad sandwiches. Our soups are homemade. We're going to start ramping that up a little bit, having tea, coffee, smoothies. So we're going to actually try and make it with a patio. We're going to make it a little
Wow.
We'll get our liquor license here, so we'll be able to do like fun things. Yeah, so some fun things. I mean, we already have like Rome Wine comes and does our events, and Poor Decision. So we love having them because we can do outdoor things. And have you seen that we do a monthly event with all the different businesses?
No,
Okay.
That's super cool.
So there's last week we had close to 100, and we'll do it once a month. So you can always come and see that in our parking lot. And we have wine and all the stuff to walk around, live music. So yeah.
Goodness.
We try to do lots of things for lots of people.
Just keeping it fun consistently.
Yes.
So
well,
that's
I
awesome.
do like to have fun.
That's
so.
perfect. Well, and I mean, if you walk into the store, there's no question that it's a
Pink.
fun store. Yes, it is. It is super pink, super fun, and pretty much everywhere that you turn your head, there's something else interesting to look at.
There's a lot to look at.
Cool.
Yes.
How does the transition for a cottage baker that is used to, hey, I've got my home electric or gas oven or whatever, and I'm moving into, whoa, I've got industrial things, like, how do you help them? Or is that like, do the other existing folks help out?
So the existing ladies back there do, and it's a lot of trial and error, and they figure that out. So our bread maker, she works overnight, so it took her a while. She kind of knew that and to perfect it, so it was really fun. Baked After Dark, same.
Yeah.
They were used to a gas oven, and so and they were like, okay, it took us a while, but we're good. Like we'll figure it out. And I think most of them are pretty skilled to know that if you're at home cooking, you kind of already know how to adjust or watch or whatever. So yes, I am not skilled there. So that is not my expertise. And I always tell them, like, I do not know how to do this. So
who was your first baker who was using the kitchen first, I should say?
Ooh, I'm going to think on that.
That's
now
okay.
I have to think.
Okay, no
really
worries.
put me in
That is okay if
spot
it pops in there as we go. The reason I had asked is because you didn't have that particular skill set, but you provided the space, and I was just thinking, so baker number one comes in.
Well,
and,
Haley has always been the leader of the kitchen, and that's because Haley has so much experience and has worked in lots of kitchens.
Now, is she doing crumb coat and shell?
Yep.
Okay, got you.
So she's probably I'm gonna say I call her the most experienced in the back as far as at that time. So and she's there full time. So anybody that's there full time, not everyone is. Some work overnights. So I'm gonna go with she was my first that I believe used the kitchen.
Got you. So you have the kitchen sage
and Ashley
there.
was Sweet Ash. Yeah,
yeah.
Those two are kind of. So yeah, I think so.
That's cool. Well, and Ashley, I had bumped into her at the Omaha Food Lovers did an event at Exarban, and Sweet Ash Max was down there with some
great.
macarons and
Macarons.
Yes, exactly. But not macaroons, because those are very different. Such cool, folks making these really awesome things. So
she's
very
super talented, and she's super fun. So we like always having her there. There's like Brenda with Brenda's Boards. So we have charcuterie, which isn't always there. So like when you would have come, you wouldn't probably know some of the people there because they don't have the coolers stocked always. So yeah, you have that. And they all work together. So when they come in, they're like bright lights, and I'm like, oh, I miss you. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. So it's always just fun to hear their lives and like their stories and listen to them all back there chatting. So dropping things.
And do you help them with the business and financial side? Because this is one of those things where, if you have just worked a 9 to 5 forever, it's like, okay, I fill out my W-4 or I-9 or whatever, and you take care of the stuff. Yeah. And then so how do you help them become entrepreneurs?
Well, it's crazy because most of them figured it out before they came. Like most people think they have to have that before they come.
Yeah.
But we can help them. I have, a team of people that would love to help them and guide them in all those ways. But most of them have already gotten the advice before they even come. So that side's been pretty easy for me. So mostly I think the challenges for them are to be able to produce enough because we sell so much. And then that kind of shocking factor of like, oh, I wasn't really ready. And then every time we have an event, how to prepare for that. And then also how to manage waste. I think those are the kinds of things that we all just kind of learned together. So
that's perfect. So and you had mentioned that waste is kind of a necessary thing.
So, yeah.
So can you dive into that a little bit? I'm just kind of curious.
So a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm so excited I sold out." And for me, selling out means that people are missing out on being able to have your product when they come. So if you sell out on Friday and I have an event Saturday and Sunday, those people just miss your product. So for me, you're just missing that part of it. And so I've always figured waste to be in my cost, and I've always just expected it. So I'll manage it, and I'll know that, okay, if I have a little bit of extra, I'll do some sort of a deal and let people try it and or sample it out so that people can actually try it when they come into the store. So samples always sell. So
Yeah.
for me, that's just kind of one of those things. But no, I feel like when you're in a place like that and you have no product, you're just missing the opportunity anytime anybody walks in the door to try your things. It's free advertising, right? Like they're coming in. So,
Yes.
and you don't even have to be there. So you think about that. Like you don't even have to work. You just have to have something there. So.
That's a really good point. You literally pulled that thought right out of my head because for something like Crumb Coat and Chill, right? I went in for Baked After Dark, but because there were these nice looking cakes in the case, if they weren't there, I would not have been able to. And I love a good Instagram photo of food, of course.
I know.
But it's way cooler to see it right in person, and then I can pick it up and take it with me. And something like a cake too that's really nice like that somebody put some love and heart into is a little different than going to your typical big box store and like,
Correct.
oh, here's a cake. It's like, no, this is
a cake that you're not going to find anywhere else. Yeah. So that, yes, I agree. I think that when you're a cottage baker, you are taking orders for something. You're never going to have those extras that somebody can just come pick up, right? So when you are Sweet Ash Max, who's she sells hundreds of macarons a week, if you don't have something in there and someone's coming in, they're like, "What?" Like,
right.
Oh my gosh, I came here for this. This is the only reason I came here, right? So, that to me, and now we have regulars every single week, so we kind of know like what they're looking for, and then they try literally everyone's things. So, that's always fun to get them to go some other direction.
That's a neat aspect that I didn't think about at all too, was that you have, the cottage baker taking orders and baking to order, or a candy maker, cookie maker, whatever, making to order. And in this case, you have the opportunity not only for marketing when you're not there, you have the opportunity for, the stuff that's sitting, the impulse buy that's next to the checkout counter when you go and you're like, oh, I didn't know I needed that, but
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, but in this case, at Her Company, in a much more beautiful scale, because it's not the like, oh, I need a tiny bottle of hand sanitizer and 2 double A's. This is like, oh, I came in for this one awesome thing, but here's another awesome thing that I wasn't even aware of, and then for that to help the ladies, as they grow their business, realize the benefit of that. But it's providing them like several different outlets that just aren't available to a cottage baker.
Right. And so for someone like me, I plan things the day of. I'm very last minute. And sometimes it's, that's why I end up sometimes with the things I end up with. So what I love about Her Company is I don't have to be a planner, right? So I can just go in there and have the best of everything.
Yeah.
And so I remind them of that because of people like me. I'm not going to special order something, but I'm still going to get the best of the best. And I can just go into Her Company and go, okay, well, whatever I pick is going to be amazing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and also with the the brick and mortar, plus they get to try out if they like the brick and mortar, or they almost get to test drive their business
really
a
do.
little bit. Yeah,
and I tell people that I'm like, it's yes. And the reason I charge rent, and I always try to remind people of this, is I charge you rent because you still need to ultimately run your business. If you didn't pay rent and have an investment into yourself, you would become my project. And I can't run your business for you. I can only help you and guide you and give you the tools. But ultimately, you have to invest in yourself. So like anything, anytime you invest in yourself, you're going to make it work, right? You're going to work it hard. You're going to know you are going to do everything you can to make it work. And or if it doesn't work, then there's no contract, right? So you gave it 30 days and that's okay too.
When you were talking about kind of ramping up production for an event or, maybe needing something in the case, have there been instances of these women helping each other to reach those larger production goals?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I was just curious.
We do have one lady in the kitchen that we call her our mom, basically, because she takes care of everybody and everything if she can. But no, they are all way too busy on their own.
Sure.
Not that they wouldn't be a team player and cheer someone on.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think a couple of them have hired staff, so they have extra people helping them.
Yeah.
But no, everybody kind of keeps their hands in their own little buckets. Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of fun too, because you have so many individual entrepreneurs in that space, and they want to put their own touch and their own quality on things. And I could see that too, where if there was too much cross collaboration, like that could be a great thing. But also, kind of like you said, they're renting their space, they have their own space, so they're managing their own business. Where I suppose if, as you're starting this, you realize that I can't keep up with production myself, that means I need to change my process, hire someone.
Yes. So you're running
or get a
your
new-
business.
Yes.
Right.
That's
so
a good call.
Now, not that they don't collaborate in a
Sure.
sense of like, someone will have an order and then someone else will want extra and you bring them in, or charcuterie will bring in macarons or bring in cookies or do something. Like they do collaborate that way with big orders and big things. But they don't really. Now, they will go to like each other and ask questions on food colorings or different things or how to get something. So yes, there's that where they'll talk, but they keep their hands out of each other's little mixers.
I was going to say, literally out of the cookie jar there.
Exactly.
Regarding the food side real quick, are they scheduling product deliveries to her company? Or
Most
how
of
does
them
that
go and
happen?
get their own.
Okay.
I'm a big have it delivered. That's
Sure.
the best for me. I'm the kind of person that's like, I just going to a food like Restaurant Depot makes me crazy. So
Sure.
some do, some have it delivered. For the most part, they all just kind of manage their own things. If they need to share, I think that they do, but for the most part, everybody's just kind of goes as they go. And have their own storage and have their own. We have definitely we're busting at the seams a little in this kitchen. So next one's in process, hopefully. But we're getting there.
You totally hit on the next question I was going to ask, was like, where does everybody put everything? Because
It's fun. We're creative.
Well, you definitely have made creative use of the space, because the store is decently sized, but it is not huge
It's
either.
little.
Yes.
It was an old Papa Murphy's, and so it was the fastest thing that I could find that was in the ability to flip pretty quickly. So it had the walk-in cooler, it had all of the stuff set up in the back. It was pretty easy to like cosmetically, and then So like I said, I didn't know what I was going to get or how many people or how we were going to do it. So we basically would buy things as we grew. So anything from a rack to a shelf to ovens, we kind of are buying as we grow, and busting at the seams.
That's awesome. I guess I did not look up at the ceiling when I was in there, but is there anything yet merchandised on the ceiling
not
yet?
yet.
Okay.
we're getting there, but not yet. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And so do these women decide how much space that they want to get within the store? How does that
So basically, the way it has been, because we have the room, we kind of let people bring what they want and we find spaces for it. So I never want to turn anyone away for anything that they would like us to retail or sell for them. So we'll make room. We always tell them, bring it, we'll make room. And that's kind of always been, I just figure it out as we go. So they're amazing because they've kind of grown with me, knowing that there hasn't been really a plan. Like everyone's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, we have someone new. Okay, so this is where we're going to go and this is what we're going to do. And I mean, it works. So there's very few issues. Yeah.
Within the area where they are displaying their products, most of the time, is it like small areas of just their products, or are the products interleaved
We do
or
both.
mixed?
Yeah,
both?
we do both. Some have their own. So we have, everything from and gigs. She's got all the funny stuff, like all of the gifty ideas. And so she merchandises her own area and space. And then other things will kind of intermix to kind of merchandise other places. But for the most part, like candles and body care and stuff are all pretty within their own space. And then we throw our plants here and there and different things. So
Yeah. Every space in the store is fun from what I saw.
Yeah,
So-
it is. I'm glad you said that because I feel the same way. It's like, ooh, what do I want today?
Right? Yeah. Well, and I mean, any store that you can walk into and you're just, you're smiling on the way, right when you open the door, and you're smiling on the way back out with, something that you saw or found is very, very cool. So that's awesome. So just so how many women right now are involved in the co-op? Give or take a little bit.
So a little over 40.
40.
It's kind of today we
That's
have
wild.
2 more. So I lose track every month. It's kind of like this. So
Up and down a little bit. That's so. And what I mean. So I've seen. We were talking about like cards and things like that, and we talked about candles and obviously food of many, many different types.
Yeah.
And what are some of the more like, the things that we hadn't talked about and covered? I'm just kind of curious on, because there's a lot of nooks and crannies that I didn't get to.
So earrings, we have neat dough. So it's Play-Doh that is homemade, so
cool.
it's edible if you want to eat it.
Yeah.
We have clothing. We have a clothing line for athletic wear, sweatshirts, T-shirts, different things that people make. Toffee. The soft toffee, we call it Christmas crack.
have not had
so
those
that's
yet.
there, and
No.
it is so good. We have BeFit baking, so she makes healthy BeFit, both kinds of juice. We talked about beef jerky,
My goodness.
Norma's candies, which is the candy scientist,
Yeah.
tea. We have a vintage line of different vintage things, gifts, and then I have a lady that does like woodworking and hand makes a lot of product that way. She makes different. Oh gosh. And then in the front, jewelry. We have a lady that makes earrings and different bracelets.
As these entrepreneurs are learning, they're probably adapting. Have any of them, since starting, adapted maybe how they're merchandising or the products they're carrying or anything?
Oh, yes. They will overmake something and then we'll say, okay, that's fine, but I'm going to adjust this way. I'm going to pull back this way, or I'm going to bring this back, or make something new. For the most part, I would say that some people have pulled back and then realize it's good to bring it back. Constantly revolving, but not overdoing it, I guess, is what it kind of has ironed out to be. And we always say go with seasons, go with different holidays. So they're learning to kind of prepare a little bit before that. But, we're in summer. People want summery things. They want summer flavors. They want, So to do those kinds of things, people are, and I'll say, like, this is my favorite. Does anybody make it? Or I was thinking about this. Does anybody want to do it? I'm kind of the ideas person, which they always, it's a joke. They're like, I'm afraid to tell you because if I do, you're going to hold me to it. But, we have ice cream. We have coffee. We have all the things that you can come in. So now with summer kind of coming around, I think we'll have a different crowd kind of coming through for the summer, and we'll have more outdoor things. So
That's fantastic. Well, and with any new business, and especially this where you're learning, like you said, the seasons and things like that, and having talked to some of the folks at like Trucks and Taps, so you've got the food trucks that are out there, and it's so interesting how weather can play into their stuff because they're outside. Yeah, and I worked retail for a number of years. And you would run into interesting things like, depending on the football score that week or who won, who lost, it would change your sales on electronics.
it changes your sales on
It's wild. Yes.
traffic, just having people come in,
Yeah. Or, and especially for, some of the businesses where maybe that, maybe more kids will be there or whatever. It's like, when school lets out, when vacation is, or, even when families may be taking more vacations too. How do you, predict those ups and downs?
We do not, which is interesting. We had not. And now we are learning very good lessons and very hard lessons, where I'll remind them to be promoting their own business, because the more that they promote their business, the more it helps the stores.
Sure.
So that's always kind of I harp on that because I can't post 40 different people's things a day, right? So the more I can share in a story or get out there is kind of the way that we have to run the business. But I completely agree. Like right now, May is such an odd month for everyone.
yeah.
I mean, the restaurants, you have graduations, people are outside, people are like going on trips or doing end of year stuff. So, it's, and holidays are kind of like what is coming this summer. Summer is going to be interesting for us because I don't know. I don't know what we're going to hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Valentine's and all of those things are easy, right?
Sure.
Everybody comes for those. But
like 4th of July, are we going to run out of cake?
I
don't know.
Like, what are we going to do? Yeah. So
is there a run on coffee because it's tax day and everybody needs caffeine? Who knows? So
that's the kind of thing. Yeah.
Sorry.
You have to really get creative.
Yeah. So how do you help them track their success? Or I know you said that, they're their own business leaders, their own entrepreneurs, but I'm curious because from you can watch likes and follows on social media. There's various software products out there for tracking business or interactions. So to what extent do you get involved in helping them measure their success and change, or is that just kind of like, hey, your space, do what you want to do?
It's pretty much on them at this point. All I can do is offer suggestions because I have to remind myself they're one person
Right.
running this
Oh my goodness.
business, right?
Yes.
Within my business. So I have to be very careful to overdo it for them because I have to remember they're there sometimes at 6 a.m, 3 a.m. They're tired. They're trying to get home to their families. So
Yeah.
I can only offer suggestions at this point,
Sure.
and then whatever they want to do with that is kind of now, again, what we focus on is what we'll succeed in, right? So like if we're focused on doing X, Y, and Z, that's going to kind of give us the, I guess, whatever success.
Yeah.
But so I have to be a little careful on that. So
That's fair. Well,
Yep.
what's kind of neat too, besides providing the space, but you are providing some of the management of the brick and mortar part of things, literally keeping the lights on, those type of things, so that maybe the cottage baker, I mean, oh my goodness, reading the schedule of a bread baker and what they have to do for pre-ferments and waking up and mixing dough at this time oh my gosh, it's grueling.
I was shocked.
It's nuts. Yeah.
And the time, and then how it doesn't even last very long. And I'm like,
So
oh my
perishable.
gosh, I need you to we got to make this last longer, but we can't. It's
can't.
fresh. You've got to be,
Right.
And all that work that goes into that. Oh my gosh.
Yes. And so it's all this time prep, and then the sale aspect of things, which is nice because the store takes a little bit of that lift off because
We try,
the
and
baker
that-
doesn't
yes.
necessarily have to
Yes.
be there.
Yes.
Nice if they are because they can connect
Well,
with
yeah,
people.
yeah. We
But
tell 'em that, yeah.
that's super cool. But somebody that is getting used to managing, my goodness, managing social media is its own
Beast.
thing.
Tell me
Yeah.
about it.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. And then if you're going to do a website, and then you're going to so much. And then connecting with customers because maybe somebody is placing a pre-order and you have to do that.
And all the emails and the things that they custom orders that they take and all of that stuff. So for me, I simply am happy with whatever they put into the store that I can help them sell and do.
Yeah.
So that I think is, that's the most exciting thing for me. Like, tell me where you are so I can help you, or we can help you, or we can promote you. Like, what are you focused on this week? What are you bringing? What can we get excited for you? So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, and hearkening back to seeing somebody in the store and things like that. I think it's Jolene that does a Golden Mill.
Yep,
right.
Golden Mill, yep.
She
Did you get to meet her?
I did. So that was one of the organic things that kind of happened when I was there. Again, came in for a cinema role. She actually came out and she's like, "Hey, do you want to try this pizza?" And so I got to try her focaccia pizza with cheddar, jalapeno, and I think it had a little bit of cream cheese on there.
Tell me how it was.
Dynamite is what it was. Just the bread was awesome on its own, and I've been running down we're talking about baker schedules and stuff, but I've been going down a very deep pizza rabbit hole, and so to try these different things and see what people are doing is really cool. So that was kind of a fun, human and tasty thing that just happened when I was there.
Well,
so
she
it
was
very
just
cool.
testing it out, and she's like, I think since they're going to be here already at night, and so she and Baked After Dark went to culinary school together. So
cool.
they have already just kind of been good friends, and so they're all going to work together and do their night thing. So
Too fun.
I'm excited to see what she is doing. A lot of bakery stuff for the mornings now too. So we're going to start to
Awesome.
vamp that up too. Yeah.
Super cool. So, important, if somebody wants to find her company,
Yes.
what is the best way to find the physical store, first of all?
The physical store is on 153rd and Q.
Mm-hmm.
We are a few down from, I always say, Urban Air. Everyone kind of knows where that's at in Brewski's. So we're just a few doors down at the east side of that strip mall.
And you are, I will say, having wove my way through the parking lot,
Isn't
you
it?
are tucked away a little
I
bit
know,
on the
we're
corner.
on the corner, and we have all these beautiful windows. But yes, we're on the corner.
Yes. So
Very corner,
So if Google Maps or whatever map thing that you use gets you to the parking lot, don't give up.
Yes,
make
we
sure
are there.
you
Just look for a pink wall.
Yes, it will be the most pink store in the best way for people to find. And of course, if people want to see what's going on, how do they find you in the internets, in the cyber world?
So we have Instagram and Facebook. So Her Company Cooperative on Instagram and Her Company on Facebook.
And so if people want to find the individual, because you said 40 working on 42
Yeah.
people, is there a launching point from Her Company somehow where you can go off and
So
find
that
these
we're
different-
working. Thank you for that. That is my project today that I was working on.
cool.
So we are going to be doing that where we are going to do that on our website, but then also so that you can find them within our Instagram and our Facebook. So their links will be there so you know who to go to. And not everyone has their own page, but most do. So, yeah. And then you can pretty much scan our page to see how many people we share and all the different things. So,
a great place to help people get started, get things figured out, provide something that you didn't have when you wanted it. That has to be gratifying for you. You have a wonderful smile on your face, and you can see the brightness and the happiness there.
It is is a little humbling because I know when people talk about it, it's a little embarrassing. But today I had Lumpia House is coming.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Have you tried her?
I haven't, but I love Lumpia so much.
So she's amazing, and she was just like, "Why do you want to help us? Or why do you help me?" And I was like, good question, because I want to. So yeah, I think that's the joy of it, is just for people like her to help her get started is so gratifying. Like, that's the best part. Like I said, that's why I haven't really focused on my business, because it's more fun to focus on theirs.
I can't sum it up better than that.
Thank you.
And super cool. So definitely go check out her company and see what's going on out there, because there's always going to be something interesting, and it's going to be good. So Andrea Rae, thank you so much for visiting with me.
I appreciate it.
Perfect. And we will sign it off with that. And I will say I'm Dave Zorko. This is Saturday Omaha. And until we eat again, stay hungry. Bye-bye.
Our show is recorded and produced by Saturday Omaha. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, as well as email SaturdayOmaha@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and stay hungry.
Saturday Omaha.
Eat this.